The roads to rock crawling, to buck chuck, to screaming eagle. We talk about it all here with Jason and Chris on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey. It's not really. We get dirty with it.
Welcome to the Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey podcast, episode 247. Woo! Back from KOH. KOH Hangover. Hi, Chris.
Yeah. Hey.
KOH Hangover edition. This is our Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary edition of the KOH podcast here.
Here we are with a PPB, right? The post-party blues.
Yeah. I'm doing good, though. I didn't want to leave. I was glad I got home because I came home to snow and I got to ski once already. So I'm handling the what'd you call it?
PPB, post-party blues.
B. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Not Pabst Blue PBR.
Not to be confused with OPP. Are you down with OPP? You know, Lorenzo's down with OPP.
I'm sure he is.
He's reminded me 3 times today what day it was. And I said, I know, it's Friday, Lorenzo. We're recording on a Friday. And
it's not the 13th, is it?
No, it's not Friday the 13th, but he says it's Friday, and he's hitting the town tonight. He's heading down to the CVI, so big poker tournament tonight.
I don't know why it matters to him, because he doesn't actually have a fucking job, so he can go whenever he wants.
Well, I know, but Fridays are happening down there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they are.
He said there's a lot of ass down there on Friday night.
All the middleaged waitresses are in full regalia. Yeah,
they love them. They love them.
I'm sure they do.
They yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, hey, here we are. Let's put this into context of what KOH 2024 was. Let's start. Really? I was gonna say if you had one word, that's your one word. No, What'd you think of KOH 2024 with the thought process of all the other KOHs you've been to? Where did this one rank? What were your thoughts, real quick, in a nutshell? Go without screaming. I'm wearing headphones.
Okay, well, I actually thought that this KOH was pretty subdued in some regards. I felt like it just wasn't as chaotic. I mean, you could probably, people would be like disagreeing with me if they were there because the night times were a little off the cuff with the fireworks and the bombs going off and whatnot. But for whatever, maybe it was our isolation up in camp because it was definitely a chill location. But I felt like KOH this year was fairly subtle or subdued.
I would agree, and Jason and Barry and I had the same conversation headed out that we thought it was a mellower KOH than years past, and I don't think there was as many people there.
I agree.
There was less people.
I mean,
and I don't know why.
Well, I think it was in waves, and I think that so multiple factors. One was the weather, the threat of weather that was occurring.
Oh, that might have scared some of but those people need to be scared away if they're scared.
Well, right, that's
mud.
what I'm saying. But
I hate mud, but that shouldn't scare you away.
So I drove in on the Saturday before the big race. So I'm not sure what the dates are. I'm not looking at a calendar, but was that the 26th or something?
26th.
And I will say that was trophy truck weekend. And the Boone Road, down by the 3-way intersection at Gate 1 was a shit show. But it seemed like after the trophy trucks went away, that whole area kind of just chilled out.
That's called the 8-way intersection, and I'm going to give credit to Charlene Bauer from the Ladies Off-Road Network. Charlene said, "Oh yeah, I'm right by the 8-way intersection." And I thought that was the most descriptive word for that 8-way intersection because there's people coming and going every fucking which direction. It's insane.
Yeah,
insane. Okay, yeah. So you made it down effortless by yourself, solo.
Yep, my solo drive. I like that because I can stop when I want and do what I want when I want,
right?
And whatever. So.
With who you want.
Well, there was no who's.
What you want.
So, but yeah, I left. I was wheels up out of my driveway at 5 a.m. on that Saturday, and I think I pulled into the campground up there to Upper Hammertown Heights at like 2 p.m. if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you came in pretty early, actually. Yeah, early afternoon. That was great. We got there the day before. Jay Barry and Alex and Jenna from Frosty Four Wheeler we met up with in Mammoth.
Yeah,
on 395. What a beautiful drive it is. I love living here, but I love making that trip down south on 395. But you have to contend with weather because we were watching it because days before, Amber got all wadded up in black ice and frickin' tore up her truck, totaled her truck and fifth wheel. So
shit will not buff out.
And she, being the tough chick she is, she just fucking sent it right back, continuing down to KOH. Like, I got to get to KOH come hell, high water or black ice. And there she did. So, I know a lot of people, a lot of guys that would have fucking turned around and said, fuck this, I ain't going to KOH. But, she made it happen and just threw a tarp over her shit and enjoyed KOH. And it was awesome.
Well, yeah, she's on a mission every time she goes. I mean, she has huge family support.
Oh my God.
The whole Hannah clan is there, multiple generations, and they make a big event of it, and the family's all about supporting everybody to the maximum degree. So all she needed to do was get there, and she knew she was
right.
in good shape from that point on.
Yeah, no. So it was good. Weather was great beginning of the week. I mean, we had nice, warm weather. A little cool a couple nights, but overall, very, very good. I put on shorts, I think, for like 3 days. 3 days, yeah, something like that. So that was good. But yeah, overall weather I thought was awesome. There we lucked out. We did have one W event, but it wasn't serious desert W.
No, not a whole day.
We can say it now. We can say win now that KOH is over with. But
what about that weird weather wind that blew up like on Friday morning at like 4 a.m. or something? That was just out of the blue.
Yeah, there was a couple early morning gust that just out of the blue fucking shake the RV, and you're like, what the? And then you're like, oh, it's windy, and then it just stops, and that's it.
It's like a rogue wave in the desert.
Yeah, it is. That's the desert, man. It's a wild place. So, anyways, let's get into. So we're set up. We had a killer little camp set up in the 50 and over community.
Yeah,
we're missing one of our esteemed board of directors of the HOA of the 50 and over retirement community up there, Rodney Muller.
He was looking for a totally different KOH experience this year.
JL Latte he wanted it, and he freaking got it in spades, man. Yeah, that was cool though. It was great to have him because I didn't want to bother Kevin, and I kept wanting updates, so I'd call Rodney, and he'd give me updates on what was going down in the Ultra 4 camp. So
Ultra 4 Jones. Lots was going down.
Lots did. Yeah, did. So Saturday morning was CrossFit Sally, Jason Berger, and Jason Shearer's pit doing a CrossFit to benefit ALS. Was it?
I believe Lou Gehrig's disease.
A person that frequented his gym, her mother, anyway, so they were doing a benefit, and I'll tell you, I had never been or seen a CrossFit. I've heard about it. We have friends that do it. Mm-hmm. And so Johnny, got to give Johnny a shout out from Dirtbag Clothing. He did the full freaking CrossFit from very start to the very end. And I had every intention of doing it, but then the boys from SXOR showed up, Cole and Sky, and I was chopping it up with Sky, and Cole jumped right into the CrossFit. And they were like stretching, and I'm like, okay, this is, fine. There was like 10 minutes of, stretching and everything. And I'm like, okay, I could get down with this. And then Berger goes, okay, now it's time to get serious. And here's what we're going to do. And he listed out, he brought out the weights, and they're going to do pull-ups, and they're going to frickin', throw this big old frickin' medicine ball around. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay here and keep Sky company. So, yeah, so we took care of Cole's dog, Nova, cool little husky, and yeah, it was very entertaining to watch, and I was breaking a sweat just watching him go. And Johnny completed the whole thing. It was good. So, and Berger kept coming over and. He goes, jump in. I go, no, I'm documenting everything for you. You know, we're media. We're just documenting this thing. So
is that why Johnny was sitting in the reclining seat the rest of the day when I got to camp?
It beat the shit out of him, man. It was intense, and that was, I know that was one of Berger's light ones. So yeah. There you go. He'll put the hurt on, but he'll make it be productive too. So it was cool to watch.
Well, that's good. I'm sorry I missed that. I was driving, so.
Yeah. And then John Webb was in there, and Berger comes up to me. He goes, hey, you know what happened to Webb last night? And I go, no. And he goes, his freaking trailer caught on fire.
Crazy story, man.
Excuse me? And I go, that's John right there, right? And he goes, yeah. He got a little burned in his face and stuff. And I'm like, okay. So after the CrossFit session, we all walked up to his pit, which was in Hammertown Estates up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Casey Shear showed up, Jason's brother, Team Awesome and stuff. And,
Yep.
And I was walking up there and we were just talking and I was talking with John and I go, what the hell happened? He goes, hey, I came in the evening and just rolled out my sleeping bag and went to bed inside the enclosed trailer. It's not a camper RV trailer or anything. It's just an enclosed trailer that he had his race car in. Mm-hmm. And he says, I woke up about 4:30 in the morning and I thought it was raining. I could hear dripping going on. And then I felt moisture on my face. And, he was dead asleep after driving all that way and everything, and opens up the door to the trailer. And it instantly flash fired. So what he was feeling was gas. So he had a little portable heater in there that was, heating up because it was pretty cold that night.
Yeah.
And the only thing we can figure is the fuel tank expanded, obviously, and was pissing out fuel and fumes, and obviously ignited when it got that blast of oxygen, like fucking backdraft, man.
Yeah. Right.
And he has a beard. I mean, he's got a pretty big beard. And he said he grabbed a fire extinguisher, started spraying it on the car. He grabbed the one off the car and sprayed it on the car. And then he went to open up the back, but it was locked, because he just got there.
Sure.
And so the keys were inside the trailer. Oh, boy. And then he goes, I got my 20-pound pit fire extinguishers. So he goes to spray those, and that subdued it. And then he said, I don't know how, but I got up on the roof, the little 14 by 14 vent up on top, and he shoved a nozzle down and hit a fire extinguisher from that direction. That was enough to allow him to open the door and put out the fire. But it was horrific, dude. I mean, he could have easily died not only from smoke inhalation, but flames and all that other stuff. He was wearing a Carhartt fire retardant long sleeve shirt and fire retardant pants just because it was cold and he was in a sleeping bag. Mm-hmm. But I one of the firefighters a bunch of people there and helped he drove his truck trailer down to Shear's pit, backed it in, and we unloaded the car into the pit so they could start tearing it apart and assessing what they needed. And then, we know the rest of the story. He got everything back together. The Gomez brothers, one of the team members came over and said, we got 15 guys we can put on this car right now.
Ooh,
and Shear put it in his pit. So, I mean, it's just cool to see the support. We tell these stories all the time, but it's still alive and well in Ultra 4 racing.
You want to beat them on the track, not in the pits.
Yeah, so... heroic story, literally Phoenix rising from the ashes and then finishing third.
You gave away the story.
Well, we know this is after the fact. Our good Ultra 4 fans here that listen to this podcast know.
Absolutely.
He podiumed and
Could have died, rebuilt the car,
Performance.
started the race, and won and podiumed in third place. How is
Yeah.
that for a story?
Poly Performance, who was one of his big sponsors there, threw him a bunch of parts, and I mean, it's super cool. And he's the man with the music. If
Right.
those of you that may not know, but he's the one always playing, and he's the one in Randy's video, that classic video, right, where Randy drove over the car, and John Webb's playing Ramblin' Man, and I just every time I hear Ramblin' Man by Waylon Jennings, it's I think of that fucking clip, man. That's so cool.
There it is. It's full circle stuff right there.
Yeah, it is crazy. So anyways, so Saturday, anything on Saturday on your end? I kind
Just
of cruised around
arriving and getting
Hammertown a
leveled
little
and
bit.
starting. I got bent before I got level.
Well, there you go. Speaking of that, Loose and Lost. They make those cool cartoony shirts, and they had the Chocolate Thunder shirt that was for sale that Friday.
Oh yeah.
And I go, damn, and I didn't make it over there in time. I went over there early, and they weren't open yet, and then they weren't open later. Anyways, so Saturday I went over there, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get a shirt. So I got the Chocolate Thunder shirt, and then they had one. They made one for Amber Tombstone Racing in her Samurai, which is super cool. And then they made one with Randy, with his king crown on and doing Bombs Away, the big downhill shoot there by the mailbox at the top of Sledge. So super cool. I like that cartoony stuff. And those guys are super cool. I met them on the Rubicon at the Springs. They needed to be welded up, and they came into camp, and they have fun. They just like to have fun. Good group of guys, and I probably spent about $400 with them buying shirts and sweatshirts and stuff, and then I bought shirts for friends. So I was happy to support them, and it was cool, the shirts that they put out this year.
Right on.
And then I went over to PRP.
Oh
and,
seats.
Yeah. I need to get seats for the buggy, but that wasn't my agenda because I didn't want to drop that coin. I didn't know exactly what I wanted, and but I wanted a steering wheel for the new golf cart. The Can-Am, the canned ham,
The douche coupe.
because the guy that had it before me, it was a flat steering wheel, and it was a D steering wheel, so it was flat on the bottom, and the flat steering wheel drove me nuts. But then the D on the bottom was absolutely. I hated it. I just hated it. Hated it more than Toyotas. And I'm like,
and more than football?
not more than football though. No, that's the top. Is there a game Sunday? Because I was trying to invite Nick to go to out snowmobiling, but he said he was busy Sunday. There's some football game on TV.
It is a football game. It's this Sunday. It's a Super Bowl. It is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. Niners.
Oh, see, here we go. Everybody's got their sides. Yeah, I know Nick's a big Chiefs fan, so that's why I threw him out a little message. I go, hey, let's go to Wheeling Sunday, knowing that.
Well, you could be a Swiftie.
Oh no, that's okay.
I think I heard Taylor Swift music blaring from your douche coupe.
You might have. No, you didn't, because it doesn't have speakers. It's the great thing about that is you can pound the music, but it's all on the headset, the rugged radio headsets. So you went didn't we go for a ride one day?
I never sat in the douche coupe.
You didn't get in the douche coupe either, huh? Damn.
The whole helmet thing is, I got to get a skull cap or something. I can't, or one of those open helmets. I can't do the face mask.
Is it claustrophobic? Really?
Yeah,
even with the airflow that bothered you too?
Well, I didn't have that one.
The air pump?
The air pump wouldn't hook up because your good buddy Jay Barry.
Oh, that's right. So. That's right. Okay. Well, we gotta hook you up to the pumper. With Johnny and I went for a ride, and it was pretty good. But anyways, I got a steering wheel, so I got to give a shout out to Aaron of PRP. I said, dude, I got to get a new steering wheel for this side by side, and he hooked me up with this American flag suede steering wheel with the Statue of Liberty wheel. There. It was a badass wheel. So I'm like, America. So that was cool. So that was my big purchase, besides the Loose and Lost shirts in Hammertown there. But always a bunch of cool stuff to look at. Great vendors. It's great to talk to. the manufacturers and a lot of the owners are there too that you get to
Correct.
talk to, which is very cool. If you're looking for particular, items, and they always have some show specials going on.
Yes, they do. I was a buyer for a show special.
You did. You bought a rock crawler.
I dropped some major coin.
You dropped some major coin on rock crawler. We're gonna we gotta get into that. That's freaking cool. I am impressed. I was there with you, and of course, I highly encouraged the deal. I tried to broker you a better deal, but they weren't budging.
No, but I'm happy with my new rig. It's pretty badass.
It is badass. It is badass. All right. Well, let's we'll get into that in a minute. What Hammertown? So besides buying that buggy, did you get anything else or anything else strike you in Hammertown? The Dang brothers weren't there. Pizza.
No, we didn't. I will say a few things. So we checked out the Trading Post, not the Trading Post, the general store.
It was the Trading Post, wasn't it?
Well, general store, but
what did you think about that?
You and I walked in. I thought the prices were high, but talking to Jay Barry about it, is like, where else are you gonna go? And I'm like, well, you have a point there, but at the same time, it's like, if you need water, I mean, to charge as much as they charge for a bottle of water, it was a little ridiculous.
But they didn't have much, I didn't think, for the general public. They had racer stuff, who's going to forget their race suit and helmet and shit? I don't understand that. It was like, okay, I'm going to come down to the lake bed and race the biggest race of the freaking year. Oh, I guess I'll just pick up a helmet and a race suit on the lake bed then. Who does that?
You never know.
Half the tent was that,
art where his shit was stolen in Vegas, and he had to go buy new stuff.
Well, there is that, but come on. And then there's fucking. They had some, basic snacks and toiletries and stuff, and it was like it was very minimal. I mean, I've seen better convenient. I'll call it quote unquote convenient stores at a fucking fishing pier, on a tiny lake. Yeah. And then they had the mechanical bull in there. They had the old original. Bronco that won King of the Hammers, the first King of the Hammers. So that's cool. We've seen that numerous times, but that was cool history. Then they had a generator thing, and then they had some fucking $600. Maybe there were more. I'm going to say $600 fire pit with a speaker.
That was a speaker, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I thought that whole thing was just stupid. It had great potential. It should have been. Should have been like a Walmart or something.
Yeah, that would have been good.
I would love to know the numbers that they turned in there, if it was profitable or what. But I think that was a dud from my standpoint.
I agree. I mean, I thought it was weird how many vendors were selling generators. I mean, they had
Furman generators, but.
They had a booth, and then of course they were selling Furman generators in the general store.
And I think that's great, because you're dry camping for, most people are out there for a week, and if your generator takes a shit, or you don't have a generator and you're going to buy, and those were actually reasonably priced. And I think there was some that were dual fuel, that were gas or propane,
right?
So I don't know, but I get the generator thing, but I don't get selling fucking race gear and shit there. It's not.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, it was in a prime
PCI and stuff, but
in the prime location that Four Wheel Parts had always had, right across from the Jumbotron.
Yeah,
at main camp. The main campfire there, the Tribe 16 campfire.
Yep. Well, it was LaserNet campfire.
Oh, it was LaserNet campfire this year.
Yeah, the big hammer in there. That was all LaserNet campfire.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Tribe 16 hasn't been there the last couple of years, and I miss them dearly. They're a blast.
I'm not sure why they're not showing up anymore, but it is a loss.
It's an expensive endeavor.
Mm-hmm. But
not everybody has Chris money.
Well, it's expensive, but it also exposes them to new customers and potentially. Yeah. So sure. It's a marketing thing, but I get it. So, but I did feel like Hammertown was well organized. I did feel like there weren't as many vendors this year.
There was some empty spots for sure.
A lot of empty spots. So I'm not sure if it's because people were afraid. I guess the prices got hiked pretty good for booth space. But I mean, the ones that you wanted to see were there: PCI and Rugged Radio, and you said PRP. Toyota had a big booth in the far corner near Gate 1. I walked in there and checked it out. They, They had their new Sequoia and their new Tacoma and their
Ford
new
had their
Tundra.
booth. Don't forget about the Ford
Oh,
booth.
the Ford
Chris.
booth. They had the simulator. They had their Broncos on display.
Yeah.
Braptor.
Braptor.
And the race Broncos.
Right.
But and then I noticed the food vendors, of course, minus Dang Brothers, but they, man, the stuff they were selling the prices were crazy.
Were they? I didn't even pay attention to it. I usually get an ice cream. I didn't get an ice cream this year.
No.
It was nice enough 4 or 5 days to get an ice cream, but I didn't buy any food in Hammertown.
No.
I was so damn full from all the food we had in camp. So.
Yeah,
we did some good lunches too. You and I fired up the barbecue a few days and had some good lunches in camp. So
ribs
the Korean baby back ribs.
Get in my belly.
Yeah.
So I thought Hammertown was. It seemed also, but of course I went down there Monday, Tuesday, and I think not Thursday because it was raining. The crowds weren't as big, but one of the big things about Hammertown this year was that and we can get into it. We're trying to do this chronologically, but they brought qualifying back to the short course in Hammertown.
Yes, yeah, which is great.
A lot of people complained that it was cool where they had it last year.
Chocolate Thunder was cool.
Yeah, it was cool, but it was completely across the lake bed and drew everybody away from Hammertown, where all these vendors spent a lot of money for a booth.
And I talked to I think this year's qualifying course was awesome. It was long, it was tough, and that was good. And the racers that I spoke with agreed, and they're like, "Man, that was a tough qualifying lap." But I think it went really well, and it needs to be in the start finish for qualifying needs to be in Hammertown, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely!
I'm glad they brought it back.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's for multiple reasons. One is centralizing it so more people, because there's some people that like me that don't have this year. I didn't have transport to get across the lake bed to go over there. So a lot of people show up.
You had a golf cart in camp with the
That's
key
true.
in it. It was parked right behind your camper.
I guess it was.
You were bitching when you pulled in that it needed to be moved and the key was in it.
I wasn't bitching. I just said, get it the fuck out of my way.
You see golf carts every day at work. You're like, I don't want to see one on the lake bed.
That's right. So, I mean, but yeah, it was good to bring everything back to Hammertown. I do feel like that you build this thing and you have a fancy short course and a start finish line right there, and all the media is right there, and the cameras and the jumbotrons. Why not? Why not keep it there? There's plenty of terrain, like they were able to prove this year with the qualifying was like 2.5 mile course or 3 mile course.
It was big. Yeah, it was big. And it was great. And they had the option of backdoor. They didn't have to do backdoor if they didn't want to. They could go out around, but that was great. I like that.
Dropping backdoor, and a lot of people just sent it.
Well, again, we talk about the technology of these cars and how far they come along, but I mean, backdoor is no fucking joke. And it just progressively got worse as the week from all the nighttime activities of digging this thing out. And Toyota's banging off the rev limiter and
bang,
stuff.
bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. Where your Lorenzo? He doesn't even care anymore. He is all gussied up. He smells like a $2 French whore right now. He's got some perfume on, getting ready to head out to the CVI. We got a podcast here. We still have some business to do, Lorenzo.
Old Spice.
Yeah. No, I think it's like Black Velvet or something he's wearing. It's pretty bad.
O'Day freaking Old Elk or something.
No, it's bad. It's not good.
Oh, not good.
Anyways, so that gets dug out, and these guys are literally fucking sending it right off a back door, and then there was most drivers were taking it slow and just dropping off and driving out of it, which was cool too. But I mean, there was a lot of guys that just fucking sent it. So. Great qualifying. Since we're talking about qualifying and you bumped us off our chronological calculated order here.
Sorry.
Let's talk about Randy. Randy, fucking Slauson, got tangled up with this fucking golf cart in the track.
Oh, right.
During qualifying. And, what this brings to light, and it sucks. And the guy totally apologized. I asked Randy, I'm like, dude, what the hell? And he goes, dude, the guy, totally apologized and was in the wrong and admitted it. But, he got bad information, the guy in the golf cart. That's
what
Polaris. they said, "Hey, course is cold. Yeah, go ahead and run the qualifying here." And that wasn't the case. Obviously, there was still
clearly
Randy.
not.
Yeah, there was still Randy and Raul to run, and it's like, come on, guys. So, the volunteer thing's great, but you get people out there, and it's like, I know I felt it when I was working Chocolate Thunder a couple years ago. My big question is, I don't want to DQ anybody. How much can I help them? How many tries do I let them to get up the wall on Chocolate Thunder? Or, when do we help? And they do educate the volunteers, but and I know they've done some online classes and stuff, but it's a disconnect there, because things like that, you need qualified individuals policing the public that's out there in the desert. And this wasn't public. This was a racer that got in front of Randy, and he T-boned him, or not T-boned him,
rear-ended him,
but
nerfed him hard as hell.
There was still plastic in Randy's ar when I went back to the pit there. But it's like, come on, guys. There's an active, race going on or qualifying, as this instance was, and it sucks. But that's the magnitude of this event. It's so fucking big. It takes so many people to operate, and
especially for the unlimited, the 4,400, the big dogs, and that's the thing. The qualifying order was known. The qualifying order was known. So anybody, they just give that information to all the volunteers, and that's an easy thing. Slauson's going now. That means we have point. 2 more, or 1 more guy, or 2 more, or whatever it is, right?
That is a very good point. But that whoever the volunteer was that should have been, that gave this guy bad information, should have known and should have had that list. But I doubt he knew, and he, for all we know, could have been a golf cart guy that could give 2 shits about the 4,400 class,
right?
And it's like, oh, Randy who, 3-time king who. I don't know. Who knows? There's all kinds of scenarios, but it sucks that it happened. Luckily, nobody got hurt.
Exactly.
They gave Randy the option to rerun, but he's like, no, I'm good. That's fine. He didn't. I mean, that course was so tough. Who wants to run that thing twice?
Well, Randy, just to get more time behind the seat in the seat.
Well, there is, but you're also beating up the car too. That's
true.
He doesn't have the luxury of a bonus, exact replica car to go out and pre-run in, like some of these teams that are have helicopters in the air and shit, which is cool.
You guys got a helicopter?
So okay, we got a little off track, but let's get back to Monday.
Monday.
So Monday at the Hammers, is great. That's a wheeling day for us, and the trophy trucks are done.
All the trophy truck fans have rolled out.
It's quieter. The chaos of trophy trucks have left the desert. The helicopters are parked. Monday's a good, nice reset.
Upper Hammertown Heights is people are moving in.
Right. And our camp started, our camp filled up quick, man. I did not go around and count RVs this year. Did you? I should have put you on that.
No, I can't count that high.
Lorenzo didn't even leave the fucking camper. Well, yes, he did leave the camper. He went from the camper to the trailer.
He got a picture with Aaron, so I guess he got some celebrity photos,
and him and Jimmy from Snail Trail reconnected. It almost brought a tear to my eye. It was quite a touching moment.
Did they kiss and make up?
I don't know. Jimmy did close the door for a minute, but we had people outside, armed guards, to make sure that Jimmy wasn't going to take him again. No. But they both came out smiling. So I don't know what happened in the trailer, but there is a picture with him and Lorenzo. Him holding Lorenzo, so
hugging it out. Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. Okay, well,
Jimmy's a hugger, a lover. So I don't know. I don't want to know. Don't want to know what happened in there. But
the less we know, the better.
That's right. Don't
ask questions you don't want the answers to.
Right. So yeah. Oh boy. So, I get a call Sunday morning from none other than Ian Johnson.
Ian
6 a.m.
Johnson.
6 a.m. California time. Because yes, I was back in California, and I was up. I was making my coffee. I got to get into that too. But anyways, making my coffee, starting my day, and I get this phone call from Ian Johnson. I go, holy shit, Ian Johnson's calling. And I answer the phone, and he goes, hey, I'm getting ready, packing up, flying in. Do you need whiskey? And I'm like, what kind of freaking question is that? Of course we need whiskey. I've got a couple cases with me, but yes, we could always use more whiskey. He goes,
may run out.
I'm going to bring you some Chattanooga whiskey, and I got some samples for you. And I go, okay, cool. This is exciting. He goes, I'll circle back with you tomorrow night. So Monday afternoon, get a phone call. Hey, you at camp? And I said, yeah, we're at camp. Come on up. Chris and I are here. So he rolls into camp in his rental car. What did he have? A little Hyundai or something?
I didn't even see it.
I don't know. It wasn't 4-wheel drive. He couldn't send it up Chocolate Thunder, but it was a rental car. Should have, though. Get full insurance and send it up Chocolate Thunder. But,
speaking of Chocolate Thunder, I wanted to take the party bus down Chocolate Thunder, but,
Party bus?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Christina and Jonathan's bus.
Oh, you're talking about that. The actual bus. Okay.
Yeah.
Because there was like a Bigfoot monster truck that had seats that they wanted to take people up and down Chocolate Thunder, but the BOM shut them down because it wasn't quite safe.
Jesus.
So, yeah, that was
probably sending a 45-foot party bus down it wouldn't have been safe either.
That would have been cool. Just
Anyways, back to Ian.
Okay, totally derailed here. So Ian rolls into camp and pops in, right? We had our own little, our enclave there, our enclave. It was cool.
Yeah,
we had a cool little
campsite
setup
within
there.
the campsite. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
great.
there was several camps within our camp, right? Mm-hmm. And he rolls up. Well, of course, people see him and then just start bombarding our camp. And which is cool, and he's super down to earth. And
he's just like us, man.
Well, and he'll take photos with people and take the time to talk with people, and it's super cool. I do really appreciate that because you could have all that in a bag of chips attitude, and like nope, Anyways, it was cool to see, and a lot of people enjoyed seeing him. So he busted out the chat.
2 bottles.
A couple bottles of chat, and then he had 3 bottles for us to sample.
Yes, he did.
Which you most of you are fans here have already listened to that episode. That we got to try that whiskey, so that was super cool. And he goes, "When do you want to record?" And I'm like, knowing how the lake bed is, and we may never see each other again. Let's record now. And so I told you, Chris, I said, hey, let's get this shit dialed in. Let's get ready to record. And we were ready.
That's episode 245.
That's right. 245, Ian Johnson on the lake bed for the second year in a row at KOH. And he is such an easy interview because he has so many damn stories.
I'm not sure it's an interview at that point. We're just 3 friends or 5 friends or whatever it was sitting around a campfire just talking.
But he's super well read, super well traveled, and he has great stories. And it's just you just throw out subjects or whatever and just let him run with it for the next 15 minutes. So
I'm telling you,
that was cool. And then invited Jimmy in from Snail Trail there. So Jimmy Jet, I said, dude, you want to hop in this thing? And of course he's like, yeah. So that was cool. I wanted to keep the Toyota chat to a minimum, and we did a good job at that because I knew it was going to go there a little bit with Jimmy in there. But
Toyota talk.
But that was cool. And Jimmy's a huge whiskey guy, so that was the main topic. So anyways, if you haven't listened to 245, go check it out. It's freaking awesome, and I appreciate Ian's generosity of bringing whiskey and letting us try that whiskey that he wants to label. Yeah, that he wants to label for Big Tire Garage and kind of being on the ground floor of that. But yeah, shout out to him for being just a straight up, genuine, cool guy, and definitely want to get back out there to Tennessee with my rig and go wheeling with him and doing some more bourbon tasting.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
there's lots of distilleries out there.
That
that's
is
for sure.
on the bucket list to get back out there. So, okay, and then anything else? Monday night, nothing happened.
No,
it was
pretty mellow.
Oh,
I think what
he did have dinner with us. So
that's right.
Yeah, I said, hey, you got to stay. Are you hungry? Of course, you've been on the lake bed all day, and was that pasta night? I think it was pasta night. And so he had dinner with us. So it was so cool bringing him in. There's like freaking 50 some odd people having dinner with us. And he just blended right into the mix. And everybody's like, holy shit, is that Ian Johnson? I'm like, yeah, that's Ian Johnson. And it's cool. It's just freaking cool to see people like that have some great history in off-roading and watching him on Saturday morning TV.
Spike TV.
And then next thing you know, he's having dinner with us in our camp, and that's really cool. So, yeah, if you don't follow Ian Johnson, go follow him at
Ian
Big
Johnson,
Tire Garage there.
Ian at Big Tire Garage.
Yeah, Big Tire Garage, and he's building his second Miracle Trust building and finishing that up. And I hope to be documenting my Miracle Trust building going up later this year.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Monday. Yep, absolutely. This is just the beginning of the week. I mean, we're getting into this. So many things happened. We roll into Tuesday, and Tuesday.
Tell me about your Tuesday.
I don't remember what I did on Tuesday.
Come on, Chris.
I slept in. I know that because I don't get to sleep in very often, and I slept in almost every day.
Well, yeah, but sleeping in for you is like 7 a.m.
Or 6 or 5.
You're still up early. But yeah, it was cool because I had, installed that inverter in my camper and set it up, hardwired it into the camper so I could switch over to that and have 110 power. So I got that Nespresso machine and
Nespresso.
Oh man, that worked out so good. I love the French press, but it's a process, right? You gotta boil water, and then you got to deal with the grounds. And I kind of circumvented all that by having like this tea bag. I gave you some of those too.
I
you
have
can
a
pour
ton
your grounds in
them. I bought new ones, but yeah,
in the tea bag deal, and so that circumvents the grounds, and then. Then you gotta get your grounds wet, ideally, let them sit for a minute, and then pour your hot water over it, and then let them steep, right?
And remember, the true coffee aficionados will never boil the water. It's a certain temperature just below boiling, like 199 degrees or something like that.
So how do you gauge that? You're there with a thermometer and shit. So I'd always get it till it just started to get, frisky in the kettle there, and then shut it down.
Did you say frisky?
I said frisky because it starts to bubble, right? So what temperature does water boil at? 212 degrees, correct? Right? So
or
you're
100
trying
degrees Celsius.
You're trying to hit that 200 mark, but yeah, it just anyways, I love this Nespresso machine. I plug it in, I put a pot in there that I put my own coffee in, and press a button, and out comes delicious fucking coffee. I mean, even JL Latte, I had to lock my door because he was banging on my door for coffee, and I'm like, dude, no. Go back to the pits. This is Hammertown Heights Estates.
That's right. Your VIP experience ends at the gate down there.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
And I knew when you were running the Nespresso machine because you did have some battery issues because you were running the Starlink the entire week running off your batteries, and so you'd start the generator up. We had both of our generators are out. We were alternating between generators throughout the week, but man, I'll tell you what, when you have the generator hooked up to power your coffee maker in the morning, boy, that coffee maker must pull some serious watts, man.
Well, what's it doing? You're heating an element, and that's like so inefficient with electricity. Right. So, or draws a lot of current. So that's the deal. But that's testament to the inverter that I put in there, that it does it with no problem. But yeah, you're right. We had the Starlink going 24/7, and it was the unique componentry modified from. I got it from Sick Nick there, Avalanche Technical,
Right.
And so it's 12 volt. And I just had it plugged in all the time. And my batteries weren't like drained, but it was just low enough. And we had the generator there, and those Hondas are good. And just fire it off, top off the batteries in the morning, and make the coffee towards the later part of the week. But it worked out well. I was super happy with that setup. And minus the Starlink being hooked up 24/7, it's going to work perfect for me this summer. I'm looking forward to that.
I mean, I really like the Starlink. I mean, I didn't know how I was going to feel about it, but this is the first time I've used our Starlink since we purchased it for the podcast, and it was a godsend.
Seamless.
I mean, it was just, there were several Starlinks in camp, and we had access to a couple of them, and ours wasn't impacted. So
Right.
Anytime you wanted to watch a video, or if you want, like for me, uploading the episode and editing the podcast and all that stuff was super easy, and I wasn't stressing about it, and I didn't have to make that
good.
Like in the early days of the podcast, making that hike down to the media tent in the middle of the night to hook into the Ethernet so I could upload it. No, those days are long gone, man.
Right.
So
yeah, we only went in the media tent to register, and that was it.
Well, I went into the media tent to
you did?
watch some of the racing on EMC Day and 4400 Day. I walked in there and watched on the monitor for a bit.
Okay.
But I mean, that's getting a little ahead of ourselves. But yeah, you're right. We went in there, and that was a different experience this year too, because Emily's no longer involved in media, which is kind of a bummer. But there was some new faces in the media tent. But we walked in, I think it was Sunday morning or Monday morning. When did we walk in there to get our credentials? I think it was
Sunday.
Yeah, it was Sunday, and it was dead. And we walked right up to the table.
Yeah.
There's been years where we walk in, there was like 5 or 6, 7, 8, 10 people in front of us.
Yeah. And then the tables were all full, and it was, and it wasn't, I mean, it was nice, but it wasn't as nice as like Emily's had a lot of nice details and touches in there. And
I didn't see a Michelin chef there.
No, there was just a tent and some Ford banners up and stuff, and that was it. So, but it's fine. And then they charged us an extra $100 this year. So the price of rent's going up everywhere. I get it, and it's still a bargain, but holy hell. It was like, oh, you owe an extra $100. And I was like, oh, shit, okay. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll reevaluate it for next year. But that was an eye opener. So Tuesday, going back, we interviewed Evolve Racing and Eric Amato from Radial Dynamics and got a fucking clinic on power steering, and that was super cool. I've been wanting to sit down and talk with Eric. Of course, we're Keith and Melissa are good friends of ours, and we talk with them all the time about watts, amps, and volts, all that electrical stuff. It's great, but
and the
it was cool
thereof.
Yeah, it was cool. So they did well. They this was on Tuesday of the week, and they ended up racing EMC and finishing the desert lap. Frickin', Melissa calls me, hey, we made it to pit 1. And I'm like, oh, right on. Yeah, we're going to be charging you for the next 4 or 5 hours. So I said, okay, text me when you're leaving pit 1. Right. And she said, okay, we're leaving pit 1. And then, they made it into Hammertown. So they completed the desert loop, which is a huge accomplishment.
Absolutely.
Lap 1, KOH. And they took home some hardware there, so that was awesome. Congratulations to them. And it was cool getting to sit down with them, and we had some libations. And what's her alter ego that came out? Natalie, Natalia, yeah. So that was a good night, and it primed the pump for Ultra 3 night. So I love Tuesday at KOH. We started off the morning with omelets with Tom, Rosa, and Lenny. an awesome omelet bar he rolls out every year.
Oh yeah.
And so got an awesome omelet that day. Started off the day right and went wheeling. Tyson rode right seat with me.
That's right. Tyson from Kansas, our airplane mechanic.
Our private jet mechanic, not airplane mechanic, private jet mechanic.
Well, we don't have a private jet anymore.
Who we had to, unfortunately, cut from payroll because we don't have a private jet anymore. Thanks, Lorenzo.
Never had. I didn't realize jets could be repoed.
Is he still here? Oh, yeah, they can. There's a whole TV show on repoing jets. You should watch it. It's pretty interesting. I don't know how much of it's made up, but it's pretty interesting. These guys go into hangars and fire off a jet and fly them off.
Really?
Anyways, yeah. No, seriously. Well, It's just like a car. If you don't make a car payment, you don't make your jet payment, you know?
Yeah, well, with a car, they like freaking put it on a trailer and tow it away.
Well, a jet, they fly away. Yeah, they fly.
What if they're broken?
Well, I don't know. It's a pretty entertaining show. You should check it out. I don't know if it's on anymore. I remember watching it in the past, and it was highly entertaining.
I wonder if there's any security footage of our jet.
So
being
Tyson rode with me, and that was super cool. I'm glad he got out. We had a great day. Did some fun trails. Some good rock crawling. He got some good video. So that was cool to get out and do some wheeling.
Yeah.
Recorded that interview with Evolve Racing and Eric Amato Radial Dynamics and then Ultra 3.
Ooh. That party started pretty early too.
So yeah, there was.
By the time I walked down there, it was fully involved.
It was fully involved. So I love when I go to Ultra 3, what I do is I walk around the circle, the outside of the circle. So there's always like literally 10 people deep all the way around the circle. And then there's people in the center of the circle, right? If you can make your way to the center of the circle is great. Because you're not going to get taken out by an ATC in the center of the circle, you know. It's all the people standing around the outside.
And you're really safe if you're in the cage, Dolly.
Well, that's true. And Dolly was in the freaking cage, and I was right across the cage. But I always like to go and make like 3 or 4 loops around the outside circle and see who's there. And you know, you see people and you chop it up a bit and shake hands and fist pump and you know, right on. Hey, how you doing? And then I worked my way to the inside. I was going to go all the way to the inside of the circle. I never made it to the inside this year.
Oh, no? What happened?
No, I didn't. I just, it didn't happen.
You're not worthy?
I caught up. No, I got sidetracked. I saw Boston Kyle.
Oh.
So he did one of his races and then parked his 3-wheeler right up against the crowd outside I'd call it turn 3. But depending on where they start, you know, because they start them opposite each other. But anyways, he was parked there. So we were sitting there bullshitting and everything. And then he's like, oh, I got to go see so-and-so. And he took off. So I'm sitting on his bike, right? I'm like, dude, this is awesome. I got a seat. I'm front row. I'm right outside of turn 3. Shit could go down, but we're ready for it. At least I got a bike to take the
ready to rumble.
Right? Yeah. So no shit, 4 or 5 races later, these guys are hauling ass around the track, and one guy fucking hits it in turn 3, fucking endos, goes over the fucking handlebars, tumbling like Superman, and ends up right up against him, not the bike. The bike landed on the top of the berm, but he ended up right up against me on Kyle's ATC. I got video of it. It's pretty fucking hilarious.
But did you
Nobody
die?
was hurt. Nobody died. Nobody was hurt. But I was up close and personal this year is what I was getting at. And then the cage was right across from me. And I just kind of glanced out my left eye. And I'm like, who is that? Is that Dolly in the cage? And sure as shit, she's in the cage.
She's got her gold jacket on, right?
Acting like a teenager. Yeah, she had her gold disco jacket on, acting like a teenager. I know she doesn't drink, but I would have thought she was drunk being in this thing. She was having the time of her life.
Oh, hell yeah, she was.
Yeah, that was freaking awesome. So, yeah. No, Checkpoint Dolly was in the cage at the Ultra 3 event. You never know what you're going to see there.
No,
it is.
And some things you can't unsee either. But yeah,
right. But it's always a fun event, and I I can honestly say this was their best year ever.
For sure.
It was very organized. Cody Wagner made trophies for them, and it's cool to see that event grow, because we used to camp below them. And I was like, who the fuck's riding their ATCs at fucking?
It was nothing like it is today,
No, it was not that well organized, and it was just like some local camps would like come over and hang out with them and stuff. And now it's like it rivals the main event,
So how many people do you think were there at the peak? Probably 5,000?
Easy. Yeah. Man. I mean, cars were parked everywhere. The cool thing is our camp was up the hill a little bit, so we had people parked in our camp, but not like we have in the years past.
Dude, this is the first year I've heard them say, hey, there's a couple of forerunners blocking the entrance to Upper Hammertown Heights. You need to go up there and move your rig. And I'm like, holy shit, have we arrived or what?
Right? That was cool. Yeah, they have a full, announcer, DJ. I mean, it's legit. If you go down there to experience KOH in the early part of the week, don't miss Tuesday night, Ultra Free night. No, don't miss it. No. So that was cool. And then, I don't know. They finished. I was there for the whole race when they finished. And,
I left.
No, I had a good spot, so I ended up hanging out, and I was on cloud nine and having fun. And so, I don't know what time it was. I staggered back to our camp, and there was a bunch of people around our campfire, and
that's where I was. Okay. I wandered back up to warm up. I was at the campfire. We had a nice campfire going up in our place.
We had a good campfire every night. It was nice.
Plenty of firewood. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Okay, so Wednesday. Let's move this train along here.
Oh, boy. Wheeling day.
It was another wheeling day, and that was the qualifier, right, for 4,400. And
that's
we
right.
already talked about that. Power Hour and Randy's unfortunate incident there.
We made it. We went wheeling in the morning and made it back for Power Hour. That's right.
So let's talk about wheeling. You talked for a minute. I said, do you want to go out
I think I surprised you when I said yeah.
You totally surprised me, because I had everybody's like, "Is your right seat open? Is your right seat open?" And I go, no. I got people lined up and shit, right? And it's first come, first serve.
Sure.
But this was kind of an impromptu run, and it was our last day.
Basically, we knew weather was coming in. We knew weather was coming in.
Not only that, but the race course.
Correct. Well, that was the other criteria that I was going to talk about. So we had the racing was going to start happening on Thursday, and then weather was moving in. Mm-hmm. So night running wasn't an option for me.
Nope.
So anyway,
I said, hey, you want to go? And you go, yeah, I'll go. And I'm like, holy shit! Stop the presses. Fucking Chris is going to hop in the right seat.
And I only have a certain number of ins and outs, right?
I'll let you take it over from there.
So I jumped in for one of my 4 ins and outs of the rig. Wasn't I counting throughout the day? So this is number 2. This is number 3.
You were counting.
Anyway, we left Hammertown. I don't know what time it was. It was probably 9:30, something like that.
Yeah, mid-morning.
Something, yeah. And we had all been breakfast up and we were good to go. So anyway, we threw some waters and beverages into the cooler, and we headed out to I'm not sure where exactly we were going, but we were going to go through that sand dune area where you like to go playing like it's Pismo Beach and shit.
Exactly. That's a cool sand dune dish.
It is. It scares the shit out of me, but
does it really?
Oh yeah, I don't like that.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that, and I took you up it. I'm sorry.
I keep my mouth shut. So anyway, but we bopped along and we went on this little mild.
Who was we? Who do we have with us? Let's name off our players.
We had Dave Ainsworth. We had Big
in a
Pete,
4-steer buggy.
In a 4-steer buggy.
In his RS1 1-seat fucking, I call it a side-by-side, but it's technically not. It's a 1-seater badass aftermarket.
And we had Danny, and we had Phil and his son Austin in their Toyota.
Yeah, so Danny was in a Kawasaki side-by-side, and met him, and he's a cool guy. He's a local from Yucca Valley.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Really good dude, and he can fucking wheel, man. That's the cool thing.
Dude, was that thing on like 32s or something?
I think it was 33s. I don't know if it was 35s, but he can freaking wheel that thing. And that's the cool thing is I love to see, people go out and wheel with us, and I don't care what you're driving, even the Toyotas and shit, but you can tell, I can tell within 10 minutes if this person can wheel or not, and Danny can fucking wheel. And then you mentioned Phil, right, who wheeled with us all these years in the CJ7, and then his son Austin, which is super cool to see his son getting involved. And
that Toyota is set.
Well, they just fucking link the front and put coilovers on it. But I do have to give full credit to Austin because he doesn't have a whole lot of four-wheeling experience. His dad's got a lot of four-wheeling experience. Maybe not the best guide out there, very questionable guide. But
I agree. He owes me a drive shaft.
He does. He owes Ed a right side panel that's sitting in my shop here. But anyways, so he went out and we did some serious fucking wheeling that day, and he did really well. He's a quiet kid, but I know he had fun, and I know he was scared shitless, even though he won't admit it. Okay, go on with it. That was our crew.
Yeah, so that's the crew, and we kind of bopped out, and we went. I don't know the terrain very well, but we probably drove for 15 or 20
minutes. We went
minutes.
out towards Pit 2.
Towards Pit 2, okay, past that sand dune. We actually saw, and we'll talk about that, we saw the overland experience off to our left when we were driving out. But we hit this little, mild trail to kind of warm things up, and then we got out of that, crested a hill, dropped down a sand hill, and we ended up making a hard left turn onto a trail called Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And that's a new trail, right? Newly cut.
Brand new trail.
So it was supposedly on the race course, and we were driving up it. And so I'm bolted in or strapped into the buggy. I'm just, using the lap belt at this point. And
you didn't have the harness on, right?
No harness. I figure, we're not doing anything stupid. But then again, I should have been like, we're going to do something
known
stupid.
Better.
So we start driving up, and I trust your driving. I totally do. And so we're going up Bigfoot, and it's like, we're leading the pack. And we come to this notch or this squeeze rock area where we had multiple lines to take. And you tried this gnarly ass left side line that was an undercut up against a rock that was undercut. That got squeezed together, and it's like, holy shit, this is pretty gnarly. And you valiantly tried, but there just wasn't going to happen. I don't know if a 4-seater buggy could have done it, but we ended up backing down, and we took that right line up and over with a gnarly off camber to the driver's side. But you drove it really well. I was impressed, and we came to the top, and then of course we stopped and everybody jumped out. You jumped out, I jumped out because we wanted to observe the other rigs coming up the hill. And I think right behind us was Pete right behind us? Big Pete was right behind us. And he freaking just nailed it. And but obviously he nailed it, and then Danny came up and he killed it. And then I think it was Phil or Austin was driving up next, and he struggled a little bit, but he's still, like you mentioned before, he's still learning the rig.
Yeah.
So everybody took the same line you did, because that left line,
other line was gnarly. But I chose the other line because I thought it was solid, right? Because being a new trail, all the rocks were rolling. Everything. You put your tire on, quote unquote, the perfect line. Okay, I want to be on top of these two rocks. And then you give it a little bit of gas. Not like fucking rev limiter gas, just a little bit of gas. And the tires would spit out. The rocks would spit out, and now you're height centered. And so I thought, oh, well, this is a solid line. It's going to keep the rig level. And yes, it is gnarly, but it's good. It's better than the off camber bullshit on the right. But yeah,
you were getting wedged in that undercut.
Oh, it was not good. I was binding up the drivetrain. I was like, something's going to snap, and I can't afford that shit right now. So back that shit up.
So yeah, we ended up, I don't know, we were there probably half an hour, 40 minutes getting everybody through it. But everybody made it through safely and with no breakage, which was awesome. And we got above that a little bit. And then Danny needed to take the hook for a brief moment because he got high centered. But then we motored up the trail. I mean, it was an gnarly trail.
The top was cool.
Top was cool. Dude, that last little section was like, oh, this should be a cakewalk. And it was like, what did you say? It was like
Marbles.
driving on marbles or ball
Marbles.
bearings.
Yeah, marbles. It's
Everything
all
was
ball
moving.
bearings these days. Yes, it's all ball bearings
It's
these
like
days.
you're just bopping along, all of a sudden we're stopped. I'm like, what's
Dude.
going on? It's like, dude, this is not happening. And you had to back up, kept backing up, kept
Dude,
backing
I had to
up.
Shannon Campbell it a few times. Just had to hit it with your purse, man. It was pretty gnarly. It was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, then we got to the top, and you guys did a little poser shot, and you parked in a
some
position.
Cool, that was a cool. That was fun because being able, one, it was a new trail we'd never been on before, and everybody made it, and it was work. It wasn't easy, and it was just a cool accomplishment.
And it wasn't a very long trail. I figure it
wasn't very long. Nope, just a little,
maybe
little
half a
offshoot
mile,
there.
maybe half a mile, not even.
I don't know. It was good. It was good.
Fun times.
So we get up to the top, and then we're like, okay, we're going to go down Medusa.
Okay, yeah, this is
fucking
where
mistake.
this is where it gets wild. So yeah, we get a little lost. We finally get back on track, get back to trail, and Jason's like, "Hey, this isn't too bad. We're going down. It can't be that bad, right?"
Right.
Yeah,
We got gravity assist.
gravity's our friend. Anyway, we're
It wasn't at one point.
no. So we're shit. I got scared. I literally got scared. I was wondering why you kept a crowbar in there, but in your rig. So we coming down this trail. We're on this left line coming down. There's a theme here. I don't know, something about left. Are you left-handed or no?
No, I'm right-handed.
Okay, so maybe you just go to your weak side. I don't know.
What do you mean? It was left at the top, but then it was right all the way down from the center of the canyon.
When we almost rolled, it was on the left line.
What are you
there.
talking about? Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah. So we come down we're on this left side of the trail, and it's like we drop down this one thing, and I'm like, holy shit, this is steep. And the front tires settle down, and you kind of come over, and we stop, but we're not really stopped. I can feel the vehicle unloading. I'm like, oh, this is not good. And then all of a sudden you gunned the gas and brought the rig back you pulled the front end, pulled the vehicle over or down, and we flattened out. And I looked at you and you looked at me, and we both had wide eyes. It's like,
Holy fuck.
and we both fist pumped.
That was the closest I've come to rolling in a long time. And Pete said that our back tires, the 43 stickies, by the way, 43 14.5s stickies, were 6 feet in the air plus.
Yeah, that would have been an
I
endo.
felt it. And you know your rig, right? And so I'm super comfortable, and I'm like, okay, when we crested over that hill of Medusa, I was like, oh fuck, this is gnarly. But then I saw lines burned in or somewhat, and I'm like, okay, well, people have been down it. And so I start down it. And then I go, right before that happened, I was like, this is pretty fucking gnarly, but I didn't want to say anything to you and get you all alarmed. And so I'm like, okay. And then when we did the endo and almost went on our lid, and we probably would have rolled a couple times on the lid, like forward, not like side roll. Like side roll, just laying it over on the side. I've done that numerous times. I'm not going to say it's fun, but it's like, okay, no big deal, right? In a buggy.
Been there, done that.
You don't have a full body rig that you're worried about banging up shit on. I don't like to bang up my body panels, but it's a fucking buggy.
Right.
So, and this is what it's for. And doing Trail Hero, I've become super numb to a lot of these off camber fucking drop offs in the front, high climbs in the, it's just, it's crazy how where I think back of where I was, shit that would have absolutely scared the living shit out of me is nothing anymore. And there's still stuff like this Medusa scared the shit out of me. I'm not going to lie. It was a fucking gnarly trail.
Yep.
And then, so now I start using my experience and time on the trail of like, okay, we are not turning around on this trail. We are not winching back up. We got to get down this motherfucker. And what's our best way to get down this thing? And so, anyways, continue. And then I will add some more shit here.
So yeah, we didn't die, and
We didn't die, but did you die? No.
we flattened out. We Jason avoided the roll. Thank
Yes.
you, Jason. I appreciate
Well,
that.
that's experience. I hit the throttle. I didn't panic and hit the brake.
So
and I got those LS V8 power, not a fucking Toyota 22RE that's fucking trying to get out of its own shadow. So that's where V8 power pays off.
Jason saves the day, and I'm like, we finally flatten out. We fist bump, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then I'm like, I'm getting out.
I want out. I want out. I want out. Chris says, I want out. And I go, I want out too. I don't want to fucking drive anymore.
So I unbuckled, and I got it. And I remember, I'm just lap belt at this point. I didn't even have my freaking shoulder harnesses on. So I'm like, I'm out.
Right.
I get out. And it's hard walking down this effing trail.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, holy shit. I'm gonna record Jason, driving this trail with my phone. But this Jason gets out and he starts walking around. He wants to scope this situation out, which we probably should have done.
We need to
early on.
evaluate what's going on here.
So he figures out what he wants to do. Everybody, we got spotters at this point. We got to figure this out. So I'm down the hill getting ready to record this whole thing. And Jason will probably post some of those videos on the gram. But at this point, Jason gets back in the buggy and he's whipping the 4-point harnesses in and locking down.
Yeah, it's harness time. It's harness time. And I've always told my passengers, I'm like, if I put on my harness, you better have your harness on because shit's getting wicked right now. It's getting serious. Get a little Western.
So he locks down hard.
I would have put on a
4-point.
cowboy hat if I had it with me.
Yeah, Jason's fully strapped in at this point. I'm down the hill a little bit off to the left to record the action, and he drove the rest of the way down, and I fell and rolled and crawled my way down the hill all the way to the bottom. But yeah.
So there was a couple more. There was like 3. So the first one we just described, where the back wheels came off the ground, that was a ledge. The next ledge, I was set up very crooked too. I was not liking the way it was set up.
Right.
And I just know, I know my buggy. I know that, I'm looking at the terrain and I'm like, dude, this is a recipe for fucking disaster right now. So I said, Phil, throw some rocks into that hole. So if I have to power out, I can, because there was a big rock on my driver's side rear that was going to lift up the rear like 4 feet. And then there was a hole that was going to drop, the driver front end. So it was set me up for a fucking pirouette. Right. And I go, okay, how can I minimize this? I got a freaking side by side behind me, Pete. And he's got a winch and shit, but there's no way he's going to keep me from rolling over.
No, the only vehicle that could have winched you in any situation would have been the Toyota.
Well, and if I had James behind me, usually James, Rhonda, and I are all like traveling together, right? So like if James was behind me, I would have had him hook up a winch line to help lower me down this shit, right? And I go, okay, that's not an option right now. So what are my options? What are we going to do? And I sat there for a minute thinking about this, calculated, I'm like, okay, throw some rocks in that hole. That'll minimize that. If I have to go driver left at all, there's fucking 10-foot boulders there. It's just not going to end well. And everything's pushing you to the driver's left.
Right.
And then the back tire's coming up. And then Phil is like guiding me down, and he goes, dude, you got to tire up against your passenger side. You got to go left. I don't want to fucking go left. I want to go right. I can't go right. So I said, look, put the strap on my back there, right? Yeah. And I said, I think there was 3 or 4 guys hanging onto it. And I said, just put a little pressure on it, to act as a winch. And put a little down pressure on it. And I said, if I start going over, just fucking let go. Just send me. I got my harness on. I'll be fine. But it was fucking scary at that point, too. I was like, this is where shit's going to go south. I know enough about four-wheeling that this was not going to end well if it didn't happen. And I was going to be all gas coming out of that. I was not going to go out without a fight. But
right.
But it just crawled right over and settled down and fine. And I don't know how hard those guys were pulling, but it worked. That fucking worked. And I'm like, okay, cool. And got down past that point. And then there was one more waterfall off to the left. Pete and Danny went off to the right. And hindsight, I probably should have gone to the right. It was off camber, but it wasn't that hard. But I chose the left line, and that was another drop off, but I dropped off that okay. But dude, it was fucking crazy. And the validating point was I talked to a lot of guys that had pre-run and getting ready for, we ran that on Wednesday, right?
Right, yeah.
And so Thursday, Thursday was the golf cart race, and then Friday was, EMC, and we have a lot of friends that race EMC, and then of course we got a lot of friends that race, the Nitto Race of the Kings, powered by Optima batteries, insured by Progressive, whatever else the fucking sponsors are there.
Wow, you
traction
did that
by
like
Nitto.
Ian.
Yeah. So it's all that. It just cracks me up how they work that in. But anyways, I go, dude, we just went up Bigfoot and down Medusa, and they go, you went down Medusa? And I go, yeah. And they go, holy fuck. We were watching Shannon Campbell go up. And I know Justin Hall was talking about watching Shannon go up.
Uh-huh.
And I go, oh, I can't even imagine trying to go up Medusa because it's just so loose, not a
Right.
cut trail. And then to come down it with the rocks rolling under you and those drop offs. And I'm like, oh shit. So it was validating, I guess I could say, because I told several racers that we went down it and they're like, holy fuck, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And
They're
I'm like,
race cars.
and I go, and I'm not doing it again. So there you go.
Well, once is enough. But I mean, it was, I walked, you drove down to the bottom and parked, and then we had a little celebration that we didn't die.
Oh, fuck yeah, we did.
And then
We didn't die.
But that drops into Thor's hammer, right? If I'm not mistaken. So
Thor's at the base of Thor's hammer's right there.
right. So it's like we're gonna
You're
we're
a
gonna
little bit,
continue.
quarter
We're
of the
gonna
way up Thor's hammer.
go up Thor's hammer, and then what's the next trail? Like
Claw hammer.
Claw hammer. And
Well, there's another little at the top of Thor's. There's another
Revolution
one,
or something, or Resolute, not
something.
Resolution.
Not Resolution.
It's a
That's
short
at the top
name.
of back door. It was something which is kind of gnarly, and then claw hammer. Yeah, but
And
you're
you're
like,
like,
we got to go.
And I'm like, I'm out, dude. I can't do this anymore.
You're like, I'm done.
So we motored back to camp, and we stopped in to see Kevin Jones in the pits, and he wasn't
We
in the
did.
pits. He was still trying to put his car back together. So
Yeah, no, that was cool, and I wanted to go up Thor's and Claw, but you're like, hey, let's go back to camp, and I'm like, I'm okay with that. Let's go. Let's get the hell out of here. So we did head back to camp. We did run by Ultra 4 Jones camp. They were still working on the car after the rollover that he did during shock tuning.
right.
And so, yeah, that was kind of, and we got back to camp and we fucking poured some heavy whiskey pours because we were like, I mean, seriously, it not that I wasn't afraid of us getting hurt. I mean, the buggy's very safe, right? Like you keep your hands and arms inside the vehicle, you're okay. But I honestly thought, we could roll. There was a high potential of roll, and who knows where it would have gone from there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I was happy to be back at camp, safe and sound. Buggy was not all fucked up, and we celebrated. We
did.
had a good celebration.
Again, that was Wednesday, right? So
Wednesday night, hump
Thursday.
day.
I was off my game because I drank too damn much on Wednesday. So, but Wednesday was a great day until it was a great day. Nobody died. I had fun. Actually, that was an adrenaline pump to go down.
So are you ever going to ride with me again? Is the
Sure,
question?
why
I
not?
think.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Why not? Just not on Medusa. That's all.
Not on Medusa, no.
Or King's Graveyard, or freaking Claw
King's
Hammer,
Veto.
or King's
No,
Veto,
Claw Hammer's good.
or Hammers, any of the hammer trails.
Or any of the trails at the Hammer.
I'll go on Boone Road with you. How about that?
Okay, how about that? You will Boone Road with me. I'll put it in 4-wheel high and just cruise. Yes, okay.
Next time I go out there, I'll take my buggy.
Okay, perfect. Yes, your buggy. We got to talk about that. But before we get into that, we got to go Thursday. Thursday was a nasty day. It got rainy.
Cold.
The W came up a little bit. It got cold.
It was because the previous days were all like 65, 70-degree days.
So
it was
good.
wonderful.
So
And then
good.
it wasn't.
And then, until it wasn't. It was good till it wasn't.
But yeah, it was the Thursday was the side-by-side race day. So the 4,900 class, right? And
Golf cart race. Yes.
Golf cart race. And we that's kind of a down day for us. I'm not into it. I did watch some of it on my computer in the camper. But I was not feeling super good during the day, so I kind of hung out in my camper and watched the race, took a nap, stayed out of the rain and wind. Yeah.
Well, I asked you if you wanted to go down to the 40 because I was headed down to the 40, and you're like, "No, I'm good."
That's right, because you and you ended
I
up
went down to the 40. So my new neighbor, Alan, here in Minden, knows the owners of the 40, and so we were communicating throughout the week via text and stuff, and I knew he was staying at the 40, so I go, "Oh my God, I got to get down to the 40. It's already, Thursday." So I text him in the morning. I go, "Hey, what's your schedule today?" He goes, "Oh, I'm hanging out here at the 40." I go, "Perfect." So we had breakfast, and then the weather came in, and I go, "Okay." Watched the race go off, and then I said, "I'm going to head down there." So I hooked up with him and met the owners of the 40 and got a fucking, classic, great tour of the 40 acres down there. Tour. So I go up to the bar and he goes, "Oh yeah, ask for Josh and stuff." And then Alan was right there, met me at the bar. And what do you want to drink? They had beer and they had wine. And I'm like, you know what? I'll have some freaking wine. I haven't had wine all week. I want some wine.
Yeah, you're all whiskey now.
I was all whiskey prior to that. So I said, I'll have some wine. And so I got a nice glass of wine, and I said, "Oh, there's some stickers here on the front of the bar. We need to put a Wheeling Wine and Whiskey sticker on there." So I ran back to the golf cart, grabbed some stickers, and was going to just put one on there. And he goes, "Give me one. We got to put one here and here." So there's two Wheeling Wine and Whiskey stickers on the bar 40. At the 40. And then he goes, "Okay, hop in." He's got this badass freaking, I don't even know what the base of it is, but it is a desert golf cart, I think it's Polaris based. I don't know. It's freaking set up. And he does a lot of Vora and Nora stuff. And he goes, "Hey, hop in here and we'll go around." And then here comes the owners in this beautiful fucking Polaris enclosed, I don't know if it's a Ranger, what it's called, but it's a 4-door, golf cart with windshield wiper, heating, air conditioning,
really
enclosed rig. And he goes, "Oh, hop in here." I'm like, "Okay." So I got my glass of wine. We're inside this enclosed deal. Windshield wiper going, heater going, and we're driving around the 40 getting the full freaking tour of the facilities. Super cool setup they have out there.
Yeah, it looked cool.
Yeah, so in the public portion, they got the bar, they had some food trucks, they got the mechanical bull, they got, cornhole. It's very well lit at night. They had all kinds of bistro lights running back and forth. It's a cool hangout. Austin, from our good friend Austin at iRate 4x4, took his wife there last year as a date night, right?
Date night.
He goes,
at
"Hey,
the 40.
we got a date night." And I go, "Where the fuck are you going on the lake bed?" They go, "Oh, we're going to the 40. And I go, "Oh, that's super cool." So they went there and had food and some drink and hung out and played some cornhole. And I'm like, dude, KOH does not disappoint, right?
No,
there's always something on the lake bed.
There's always something to do. And, while you were off at the 40, I didn't just hide in camp all day long. I did go out. I remembered as we're talking. Our good friend Andy Carnitas, our photographer that hangs out with us and does great. He takes some awesome photos, but
he got some great photos of Ian Johnson too.
Absolutely,
that was cool.
He certainly did. But he popped in and said, "Hey, I'm going to run out to the Overland Experience. You want to go?" And I'm like, "You know what? Yeah, let's go." So he has his Toyota FJ Cruiser, so heated. So I jumped in there.
Bougie.
Dude, that thing's nice, and it rides well. We went through some whoops. I mean, he wasn't going like 80 or anything, but he's got, it's not a fancy suspension, but
He wasn't going down Medusa.
No rattling, no squeak. I mean, that's a nice rig. So we chatted and hung out. Went out to the Overland. It was raining. Went out to the Overland Experience and saw those fancy tents, the whatever those things are called,
Right.
And
the S-Pods or whatever, the foil tents.
The foil tents. They're like $1,000, and they can dock with each other.
Whoa,
I don't
know.
Whoa!
That's not that kind of podcast here, Chris.
Like tent docking.
Don't. Yeah, we got some bad communication. The lines are getting crossed here between California and Nevada. I don't know what's going on down there. You fucking Californians. Okay, go on.
Well, we ran into Ozzy and Kelly out there. They were airing up people and whatever. So it was cool. I mean, we wandered around for, 15, 20 minutes and saw what we needed to see and said we did it. We came out here and jumped back in the cruiser and started heading back to Hammertown.
Was there any scottles fired up or anything?
I didn't see any scottles, but it was pretty early. It wasn't dinner time yet. So.
Solar panels deployed.
Well, it was raining, so the solar panels have been useless.
Oh, so they didn't have that. Okay.
AEV was out there, though, with the rooftop tents were in abundance.
Yeah, there you go.
And they were fully deployed, and everybody was, they were all stroking their tents.
Some batwing awnings.
I don't remember any batwing. I saw a lot of docked tents. That's what I remember.
I don't think that's a good thing.
It's not. But anyway, we
heard of docking tents, but that can't be good.
So we started heading back to Hammertown, and it was like when we were driving out to the Overland Experience, there was literally nobody in the desert, and that's what we're talking. It's like, dude, there's nobody out here. It's like empty, and I'm like, well,
usually you see somebody often anywhere, right?
Yeah, no, we saw nothing.
And you saw nothing, and that goes back to our previous statement early in the podcast of like it wasn't as busy this year.
Well, but then it wasn't. It was busy.
Wasn't?
Then we were heading back to Hammertown, and that freaking Optima battery expedition with the EVs.
Oh. We know some people
Rivians
that were
and
with
the
that.
Tesla trucks and blah, blah, blah. Dude, it was like all of a sudden we just saw nothing but freaking a shit ton of vehicles all in a line coming out, and they were all Rivian or all EVs, mostly Rivians. And I'm like, oh, what the hell? I should have taken some video of it, but I didn't. But it was all of a sudden super crowded, and there was a fire truck out there. That was weird. It wasn't a Dang Brothers.
It didn't have a pizza oven in the back.
No, it was just a random fire truck. Yeah. It was just weird. I don't know.
Everything's on the lake bed. There's so much eye candy out there, machinery. It's so cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
so you guys did the Overland.
Yeah.
And I was at the Fody, and so it was raining, and we're inside this tent with all these cool freaking rigs that they have there. Rock crawlers, UTV, side by side, the Robbie Gordon, speed UTVs. I'm like, oh my gosh. And the pizza oven's going. TV's going. We got wine flowing. I'm like, this is a good place to be on.
It's all
I
rhyming.
sent you a picture of me holding a glass of wine, watching the UTV race. I'm like, this is freaking killer.
I know.
So, shout out.
Feel like I should have been there.
You should have been there. I invited you. Shout out to Alan and the owners of the 40 for welcoming me to their camp, and that was a fun experience on Thursday, and super comfy, and yeah, that was awesome.
I'll have to make it out there next year.
Yeah, no, it's a cool spot, man. They got it. They're doing it right. They don't, they got the same philosophy as me. Just don't F around. It's like, you're going to do something, you're going to do it right. Place was super clean. They had 24/7 security. They had bathrooms, they had showers, and then they hosted that EV experience that you were talking about.
The Optima battery.
Yeah, and I guess it was cool. CJ was a CJ. I spoke with him. He said it was good, and Tyler with Morflate was out there helping air down everybody. Air down for what?
He never. So CJ never came to our camp though.
He didn't. He it was a limited time that he had, and he focused on this event. And I get it. He's like vice president of the Rivian Club or something in the Bay Area now. So, but it looked good. But Optima needs to get their organizational skills up to speed a little bit. It was a little, but they had fun. It was good. So yeah, that was a great Thursday for a bad weather day. We made it good, and I'm glad you got out and hung out with Andy Carnitas there.
Andy's a good dude. He really is. He's just such a fun guy.
He loves KOH, and I don't know how many thousands of pictures he takes. It's incredible.
I think he said he took like 12,000 pictures this year.
It's stupid. And so when Ian rolled into camp and Andy's there and just kind of like, hey, and how you doing? And I'm like, okay, right on.
Had he met Ian before?
I think he had, but I go, dude, can you take some pictures? Because all his pictures are fucking 100% quality, right?
Oh, absolutely. He's got really nice
he took
cameras.
Some killer pictures for us. So that was cool to document and capture the moment, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't on an iPhone. It was on a fucking legit SLR camera.
Oh, yeah, and Canon.
Thank you. Shout out to Andy Carnitas for doing that. And he does a lot of the photos out there on. He finds the little nuggets out there where to get some great shots. So.
Well, he does it right. He goes out and scouts all the locations he wants to shoot from, and then if it's not working for him, he relocates to a different spot.
Right.
He's like a semi-professional photographer.
He is.
So he's dedicated, and obviously he loves it for his own reasons. He's attached to Metal Cloak, and he does photography for them, but he puts it out there for all the other teams to get photos because he takes pictures of everybody. Whether he doesn't photograph side by side, but he does the EMC and 4400. Right. But and he's out there during qualifying. I mean, he does a great job. Good job, Andy. Hats off to you, buddy. Woohoo!
Golf clap. So
Thursday.
let's move on to Friday.
Thursday's wrapped up, right? We're done with Thursday.
We're an hour and a half into this, so let's go into Friday.
So what's on Friday? Oh, EMC.
EMC Day. So we have a lot of friends that are racing EMC, right?
That's right. Evolve, Justin Hall, freaking Amber.
Yes.
Randy.
Yes.
Keep on going.
The Peaks. I mean, we got a ton of people going in on this thing, and I'm like, okay. We gotta. This is a good day, right?
And the weather's good,
and
there's no dust.
There's people firing up in our camp at like 6:30, like getting ready to line up in Hammertown, and I head down there and just like Saturday, walk around and check out all the cars.
I know you're texting me. You're like, dude, you awake? You up? And I'm like, I'm having breakfast. And you're like, I'll see you down in Hammertown.
Dude, you gotta be there.
I was there.
It's so electric. I
just needed to eat. I needed to eat.
Oh, fuck the food. I don't even make coffee that morning. I just get up, brush my teeth, brush and flush, and have a pint of water and fucking hit it.
Boom.
Yeah. But it's so cool to go down there and talk to everybody, and a lot of the racers are in the race zone, so they give you a fist pump or a whatever or what up, but some of them are like super chill and like we'll talk to you for a while, and that's fun too. So
absolutely.
So they take off the line.
8 a.m. is the first go.
8 a.m. So let's back up one step here. The transponder bullshit.
Oh god.
So on the golf cart race the day before, on Thursday, I'm down there, walking the line again, And they're like, oh, it's delayed till fucking 9 a.m. because
Right.
Eric Wicks is racing a golf cart, right? His
Correct.
Polaris, that's fucking badass. When you look at this thing, all the work he put into it, and he was having some battery issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I go, you got a spare battery? He goes, I got a spare battery in my camper. And I'm like at your camp, not at your pit. And he goes, no, at my camp, which is like across from the police, medical,
It's a
emergency
little bit of a
services,
hike.
right?
Yeah.
So I ran from fucking Hammertown down to his RV.
I'd have paid to see that. I don't think I've ever seen
I
you
did.
run.
I did. No, I'm in good shape, decent shape, somewhat shape, whatever. Some
bourbon
kind of
shape?
Yeah. I ran down to his camper, picked up this Odyssey battery that weighs fucking 50 pounds, maybe, I don't know, 35, whatever. It's a golf cart battery, and run it back to Hammertown. And I get there, and they're like, oh, we're just going to use this jumper. We don't need the battery now. I'm like, fuck.
You're going to put this battery in right meow.
I'm like, you're going to fucking put this battery in your... No, it's cool just to help out, right? I'm just like, I get it. You're in that situation. You're on the line, and the fucking... Is this battery going to get me through the race or not? And I didn't want that to break his race, so... Anyways, they didn't need the battery. They jump-started it and got it going, just left it running. But it was an hour delayed because of the transponders.
Sure, right,
They had
right.
some new setup this year that didn't work, and they fucking abandoned it. But it's just like, dude, this is not the first time King of the Hammers happened. It's not the second time. It's not the third time. Okay, this has been going on for years. Get your shit figured out.
That's a whole nother podcast, dude.
Yeah, I don't want to go on that deal. But anyways... and then the log jam at Turkey Claw.
Oh, God.
It's like
Every day. Thursday,
each
Friday,
race.
Saturday.
just fucking people are just sitting in traffic. And then you got Amber Turner. That's the great video that's gone viral. Beep, just going around everybody. And then she rolls over. God damn it. If she didn't roll, that would have been fucking awesome. But
Put
that
some
is
music
so
to
good.
that.
She passed like 20 fucking rigs.
That was awesome.
So, it's just King of the Hammers. It's King of the Hammers. So good. So that
back to Friday.
That Friday also, Friday afternoon. So unfortunately, Ultra 4 Jones, and we'll have him on the podcast again because the last podcast we did with him, he was like going to be right seat, bring his helmet and race suit down to the race bed. And yeah, should have done it, but he's like, no, I'm going to build this car and shit. That all happened after our podcast. And I'm like,
Yeah, things change fast in this world.
you're
we live
one
in.
crazy motherfucker, but okay, he made it happen. And dude, seriously, the guy's got no quit. I got to give him that. So he goes out there, gets to the lake bed, and freaking rolls over his car in testing shock tuning. I mean, the steering wheel came off. Jesus, take the wheel, and Jesus is not a good driver. That's
Apparently not.
That's what Kevin said. I'm like, it's funny but not funny.
No, it's not really very
What
funny.
I mean, my heart sank. I'm like, dude, this guy has poured his heart and soul and
sacrificed family time and all the things that he
countless
did.
hours in the garage. Right? He's so well documented on IG.
I know.
Doing it for the gram, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the worst thing that could happen. This could be a game changer, game ender right here.
Right.
No, these supporters came out, over 150 people, and I know Kevin did not want to do the Venmo, PayPal thing, like, if you
GoFundMe,
wanted
whatever.
to, but all these people wanted to help out, and he had over 150 people
That's awesome.
help him out, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna make this happen. And he did, and a lot of our friends were involved. Brian from Railtown, and then Rodney, our JL Latte, and Lee Lim, and It just goes on and on of all these people that said, hey, I'm going to pit for you. I want to be part of this KOH experience. Well, they didn't know what they were signing up for.
Well, they were signing up for the Ultra 4 Jones VIP experience is what they were signing up for.
Right. We're going to give you the full KOH experience.
We're not going to build a car. We're going to build a car twice.
Yeah, we're going to rebuild a car fucking twice. So, oh my God. Anyways, we're going to have him on the podcast. We got to get JL Latte to get his experience too. But he rolled. Thank God nobody got hurt. Kevin didn't get hurt. And he was so mentally, physically just drained. I felt so bad for the guy. I'm talking to his dad, Dennis, and going,
right.
Is your son all right? Is he okay? He's like, yeah, he's certifiable mentally, but no, he's okay. And I'm like, okay, I get it.
No, he's not all right, but he's all right. Yeah, he's the king of the hammers, and we're going to make this happen.
We're going to make this happen. Exactly. And that's the cool thing about King of the Hammers is he just kept fighting through, and he accomplished his goal of getting to the start line and getting more than 13, 14 miles on the track. So
he went 19 miles, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So there you go. So we went out. You weren't with me. Johnny was with me. We went out and they got the car back together Friday and went out for a little desert test run. And of course, he was gun shy, running across at speed. But it was cool to see the evolution, right? Like he'd make a lap and make another lap, and it kept getting faster and faster as he gained confidence in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool to be out there and watch them testing in the car. It is crazy because independent rear, independent front, and it just the body of the car, the chassis of the car is like fucking dead level, and the tires are going everywhere, violently. And
violently, okay.
Yeah. ADS shocks came through and rebuilt all his shocks.
Yeah.
I mean, the support he had and the amount of people that contributed, it just was a testament to his program of like, hey, I am the everyman challenge. And I rolled and we got this thing to the start line and we got to compete in King of the Hammers 2024. So
you have to applaud
we'll get the full story. We'll circle back with that.
We'll definitely will. You have to applaud his tenacity, and like Jason just said, we'll get the whole story. And look forward to that in the very near future. We have been in contact with Kevin, and he's down for it. So and we'll get Rodney's perspective on that too, because he was, that whole. I need a different experience at KOH, and I think he got that, like Jason said, in spades. So, but I mean So I mean, looking at the EMC race that went off on Friday morning, one of the things that was huge in that thing is obviously the rain on Thursday played a major factor. There was no dust, and that's the perennial thing at KOH is always how much dust and how much wind. And how's that can impact the racing and how fast people can do, what kind of passing can happen in the desert. But that was kind of a non-issue this year. So some of the speeds were stupid because they just could. They could fully send it because they had visibility up the wazoo.
Sure. Yeah, and what was also cool is Josh. So Josh was in our camp. Josh
Ebel,
Yeah, Ebel. Is that how you pronounce it?
Ebel. 4831.
Oh, there you go. Look at you with the fucking car numbers. Nice. So he was camped right in front of us.
Literally.
In Hammertown Heights Estates. And
I don't think he paid his dues.
No, he did. We welcomed in. So Crystal was there, and then Crystal's son, he looked just like Vanilla Ice. I thought Vanilla Ice
Ice baby. Din, 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 din. No, that's different.
That's good. You did that good. But anyways, super cool to see him. And unfortunately,
he got lost.
Joe Rebello was his right seat from your hometown of Livermore there.
4x4 shop.
shop.
Yep. Right? I like Joe. Joe's a good guy.
Oh God, it's cool. All these people we've met over the years, and it's fun. I don't want to race, but it's fun to know the racers and
You say
and
that.
friends
I
of ours
guarantee
that are
you're racing side by sides next year.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Nope.
Bullshit.
Nope. I have no desire to go at speed.
Question of the week. Will Jason race at KOH next year in the douche coupe category?
No. 100% no. Now, if Jason is going to compete in anything, and it will probably happen, highly likely, that I would compete in, competition rock crawling, the slow, technical, forced steer, fucking crazy ass shit. That's what I would do. That turns me on. But going 100 miles across the desert an hour, no. I have no desire to go fast. Sure. I don't like to go fast. Bullshit. I'm not Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby. Okay.
I'm not Ricky Bobby.
Okay.
I'm very just slow, technical, doop-de-doo-de-doo, having fun out on the trails.
So what were you going to say about Josh?
So, no, it was cool to see Josh out there. He
was absent for a few years.
A 2013, I want to say, bomber chassis.
Correct.
With a V6 that had raced previously, and he has raced it previously. And it was good to see. They were teed up for a great freaking race. Unfortunately, they made a wrong turn, and their race was over. But goddamn, the car was running good, and I wish they would have done better.
Yeah, the tires didn't even look worn when they.
No,
came back
the car was spotless when he brought it back, and he came into camp. And I was out and about, and then I came back and I saw the car in camp, and I go, "Oh, this ain't good." I go, what the fuck? But damn it, it's fun having friends racing and stuff, and they were there to make a mark, and unfortunately, it just wasn't in the cards this year. But it was cool to see him back out there because it's an effort, man, to get.
It is. And
he came out from Colorado, yes. And to get everything organized and to make it happen. And
then, of course, your friends and family that show up to take vacation time and whatever to make it happen.
Yes, there's a lot of commitment from all sides. And it's just, I was glad to see him back out there. Yep. And then I got to mention Ron Smith. So
yes,
he had his best KOH ever. I talked to him. I talked to Kevin Jones.
He was in our camp a lot.
He wrote... Kevin Jones right-seated for Aaron in the bomber chassis last year.
Last year,
And they freaking finished. And they, for rookie, finished the race. He fucking did great. But Aaron, every time I saw him, he was with a smile on his face, having a great time. He didn't have his car out there.
Nope.
But he freaking enjoyed KOH, and I told Kevin Jones, I said, that should have been you. You should have came out there with your race suit, your Hans device, and your fucking helmet, and just had a great time. And he goes, yep, I should have done that. But
for sure,
hats off to Ron, and him and Lorenzo had a good moment too. So I got a picture of them together. Yeah, super fucking cool.
So let's see. Let's want to go over the results for the 40.
Yeah, let's go over results and let's put a bow on this thing.
All right. Here we go. So I'm sure our listeners were all watching with bated breath on each race day, but I'm going to just give the top 3 or 5 for each category. EMC is a little different because, as you all know, there's three classes that run at the same time.
Yeah.
You got the 4,800, 4,500, and 4,600. So 48's, the Legends class or whatever they want to call it nowadays. And then the 4,500's the modified class and 4,600's stock class.
Right.
So top 3 in the 4,800, starting with the third podium winner, is Jeremy Jones, car number 4837. And then second place was car number 22 with Stephen Rose Jr., which we all know as Woody Rose.
Woody Rose. Holy hell. He laid down some racing there. That was so cool. I was
he's a
so
good
excited
driver.
for him.
He's a really
good driver. Trent Fab, local boy up here, and that was awesome to see. Yeah, so hats off to Woody. Let's give him a little golf clap.
Woo-hoo.
Go on. Okay.
And then, of course, the overall winner for the 4,800 class was Mr. Randy Slauson, three-time king. Who's that? Randy motherfucking Slauson.
Who?
Who?
Never heard of him. That's
Drove
fucking cool.
Brand new 4,800 class, 4,800 class car. Yep.
And his brother Mike Slauson helping out there. So yeah, that was super cool. Mike did the desert lap, but I love it. It was cool to see local boy done good here, and Randy obviously no stranger to KOH, and
nope.
I wanted to see him win the 48. He was teed up, and then 4,400, and unfortunately had some mechanical issues again.
But that's the nature of the beast, right? Do all the prep work, and luck sometimes isn't in your favor. So that's the 4,800 winners right there, top three, the podium, and then I'm not going to get. I don't know. This isn't broken down as well as I'd like to, but so for the 4,500, which is the modified class, looks like you've got. Let's see here. I mean, I can only let's see without digging too deep. Shad Kennedy looks like he was number 2. And Dwayne Garrettson was number 1.
Dwayne Garrettson, and I met him before, but I got to hang out with him this past year when James and Rhonda went out and picked up their buggy.
Oh, is that
out with Ian? We went to Hot Springs, Arkansas. That is an incredible area. I want to bring my buggy out there. It's crazy.
Let the buggy eat.
Yeah, you're on the rev limiter on marble, on wet marble. It was raining that day, but Dwayne Garrettson came out for this event for past wounded. I wouldn't say wounded warriors, but past people that were in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And super freaking cool event. It was America on High, and Dwayne was there, and I got to talk to him for a few minutes, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing out here from California?" And I'm like, "No, we had to pick up this buggy, blah blah blah." But it was super cool. He's a good guy. Good guy.
We should get him on the show.
Yeah, we should.
Cool. Right on. And then I just found the third place for modified class 4,500 was Steve Crawford.
Okay.
So and then the third class, the 4,600, which is stock class.
Mm-hmm.
You got number 1 was Bailey Cole.
Well, how about that? And that Bronco, the Jegs Bronco.
The Jigs.
He got sponsored by Jegs this year. That's
Jigs.
That's a huge one. Good
for sure.
You, Bailey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
golf clap there.
First place, 4,600 stock class. Second place, 4,600 stock class was, oh boy, another Bronco. Lauren Healy.
Lauren, yeah, always up there. Yeah, the Broncos dominating. Okay, go on. Third.
And then it looks like Alex McNeil was the third place winner. I don't know who that is. Never heard of him. But congratulations to all three of you guys. And that's super cool. So those are our winners for the EMC on Friday, baby. What does that mean, Jason? That means the next day is what?
4,400.
Unlimited.
Our
Race
favorite.
of Kings.
The Nitto Race of Kings.
Powered by
Optima Battery wait, let me get my best Jim Martin voice.
Progressive Insurance.
Insured by Progressive Insurance and powered by Optima Battery. Fuck. We're
going to get sued.
Shit. No, we're not going to get sued. It's America. It is what it is, but whatever. Okay, Okay,
Enough
like
of
the race
that.
is powered by Optima battery. Okay, go on.
So
Next.
Saturday morning, baby. So we got to kind of preface this a little bit. This was a little bit of a woohoo, damn it, you know.
It was.
We had all decided because of weather related issues that we were going to pull the plug and leave the lake bed a little bit early. So you were going to leave. We both decided we were going to leave.
I packed up
after the
Friday
start.
night.
Right. You loaded up and packed
Against
up.
everything in my body that did not want to pack up Friday night, I packed up Friday night.
Well, you did, and I pre-packed a lot of stuff because I wasn't sure if I was going to leave or not. But anyway, so Saturday morning, you know, I got up early. I gave up on doing breakfast that morning. I just had a cereal bar and I freaking blasted down because I wanted to talk to a lot of people and see everybody on the lineup before they started.
Was my thing.
And I missed a few people. I pissed me off. But one of the things that was cool, I got down to Hammertown at like 7:10 maybe. And I just walked through the gate 3 that, you know, they got that new setup for gate 3 there. And
you got options. You can go to the pits or you can go into Hammertown.
Pits way
I like
or not
it.
way.
I like it.
Anyway, I just walked into Hammertown, got through the gate, and this woman and this little entourage of people, she walks up to me and said, "Chris?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I'm Chelsea. I'm Eric Wicks's wife." And I'm like,
"Oh,"
shook her hand. And I'm like, "Well, damn nice to meet you, ma'am," you know, and talked for a minute and we just, you know, hung out for a second and got to know each other quickly. And I said, "Hey, where's Justin lined up?" And she's like, "I'm not sure. I think he's in lined up number 30 or something like that." And I'm like, "All right, well, I got to see him before he goes." So I'm going to, and I said,
Monster.
Right. So I said, "Good night. Really nice meeting you. Awesome. I'm going to wander this way. Hopefully I'll see you again before I split." And then she went that way. I went the other way because I was going to wander down and try to talk to some drivers and see some cars. But that was super cool. I hadn't met her before. And you know, like I said, that was a nice surprise.
Wow. Okay, cool.
So, and then I said, I'm going to start at the back of the line. And that was a mistake because, I mean, I saw quite a few drivers, but I missed out on
Start at the front. Work your way back.
I missed out on talking to fist bumping and talking to Levi and so many people. I was like, you know, it was a mistake, and I won't make that mistake twice. But I did see Shannon, and I talked to him for a couple minutes. And then who else did I run into? God, I ran into so many. But I walked, you know. Then you heard the engines all start roaring, and they started driving into the short
start
track
line. Yeah.
So, but so what was your experience? I know you were running up and down, just doing your thing.
I slept in. I don't know. I just woke up and left.
Right.
Oh. No, fucking Saturday of KOH is my fucking day, dude. I love it. Woke up early, like at 5:15 a.m. I couldn't. Well, I don't know if that morning woke me up, but there was some fucking bombs. Not fireworks, but like bombs that went off on the desert.
Like,
I don't know what they were.
Like dynamite.
They were not M100s. They were not M1000s. They were fucking bombs. I thought the military, it shook my camper.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know who was lighting that shit off, but props to you because that's some legitimate explosives there. But I woke up at shortly after 5 a.m. on Saturday morning, and with the anticipation of Christmas morning. I was like a kid on Christmas morning. I'm like, oh shit, okay, it's Saturday, and it's a mixed bag, right? It's like, you know, you wait till this moment all week, it builds up, and then here it is, and then it's like the reality sets in that we're going home soon.
Stop saying that.
I know, but it sucked. So I was excited. I got up, made my coffee, took a shower, brushed my teeth, the whole thing. I was ready to go, fucking bells on, fucking jam down to Hammertown. And it's chilly, not crazy cold, but chilly, and walking through the line. And I start right at the fucking beginning, right? And going through fist pumping, talking to people and all the different drivers and co-drivers. And it's just, It's so freaking good. And walking down the middle of the line and going around all the way through 117 drivers. And who was our 117th driver? Ultra Ford Jones at the very end.
I did talk to him. Yeah, I saw him.
So yeah, it's good. And I just love it. It's electric. It's freaking, the nerves, the anticipation, the big day has arrived. This is what you're here for.
This is what it's all about.
Right. And to be there in that moment, and it's so cool. And so, watching the weather, I was like, oh man, this is the one thing about living up here in Nevada is like, dude, roads can close because of snow, and you saw what happened to Amber.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, it's like, no, we got to watch this thing. So I'm watching it, and against my every bone in my body, I'm like, we got to leave Saturday right after the race starts.
Right.
And Jay Barry and I were on the same page, and go, okay, so.
At least you had 4-wheel drive.
Oh, yeah, right? So I go, okay. Well, he had 4-wheel drive, too. He had dualies on the back of his
does that count?
Yeah, that counts. That's 4 wheels on the ground driving.
Right? Okay.
So I'm looking at it, and I go, dude, this is our window. I just knew. I mean, this is experience. This is old age, wisdom, experience. It's like, okay, you got to leave now. If you don't leave today on Saturday of race day, you're not going to get out of here till Wednesday. Yeah. And that's not an option. So I go, okay. So I loaded up everything Friday night. Jay loaded up everything Friday night. All our other Nevada friends had left camp, abandoned camp, gone.
Yeah, no, camp was
before Saturday's race, right?
Yeah.
And I go, shit, maybe we should have left earlier. But you know what? It worked out great. I was able to watch fist bump everybody on the line, watch everybody leave the start of the race, and then I headed back to camp. And I was ready to go and started up the truck, warmed it up. Jay Barry was ready to go. We headed out right after the race started, and I put the fucking Starlink right up on my dash just in case I couldn't get coverage, and fired that fucker off. And we had full coverage all the way home, streamed the whole race. I had it streaming through the Ford F-350 Super Duty with the massage seat going. I had the best seat in the house. Jay and I were going back and forth about the race, watching it. And it made our drive so short and enjoyable. Made it back to Nevada through 395. Got through Mammoth before it started snowing there. And I woke up Sunday morning. I got everything unhooked and put away except for the truck, the camper off the truck. And I woke up with 2 inches, 3 inches of snow on the ground Sunday morning and got the camper off the truck and unloaded the rest of the shit and dealt with it before the big storm came in. I mean, for us, big storm, a foot of snow. It was great.
That's a lot of snow.
It was the right call. It was the right freaking call.
Well, and I agree because, I mean, I left on Saturday probably, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes after you on Saturday morning. I watched, just like you, I watched the race start. But, I mean, hearing about the people that left on Sunday morning with the rain, with the wind was really
the wind thing. Was crazy on Sunday, I heard.
The only wind I experienced was on 58 crossing Mojave, going from Barstow to Tehachapi. That I'm like looking at my distance to empty on my truck as I'm blasting along, and I filled up in boron when on the way to KOH,
right,
and then I basically left King of the Hammers with 3/4 of a tank, and as I'm crossing 58 heading towards Tehachapi, I'm like, do I have I have enough fuel to make it to Tehachapi? I know. And I'm like, I can do this. And then I'm looking at my I'm like, it's plummeting. I'm like, no, I can't do this. I'm not going to make it.
Gotta pull the plug, man.
So I pulled over in boron and filled up again. But it was because that headwind was gnarly.
Yeah.
But once I got over the hill and into Bakersfield and crossed over to I-5, It was easy going at that point. Stopped at Harris Ranch, had barbecue, which you missed out on.
I know. I missed the Harris Ranch stop. We stopped. Where did we stop at? Somewhere for Jason to fuel up. I didn't need fuel, and then I said, "Hey, I'm going to fuel up in Bishop. Just top off the tank a little bit." And yeah, we didn't stop for food or anything. I grabbed some food out of my camper. That's the great thing with a cab over camper,
right?
You know, I made a little charcuterie plate out of salami and
we
cheese.
We had tons of extra food because we left early.
I had some food left over from the event. So I'm like, okay, let's motor and get home. And we got home in daylight, which was great. So
for sure.
No, I get it, man. It is. It's a scrunt down there, and it's nothing. I mean, these people, the racers think about who we interviewed, Thor Racing out of Canada. That's a 50 fucking hour drive.
I couldn't
50
imagine.
50 hours.
I couldn't
and
imagine.
we're sitting here going, oh, yeah, we got this fucking
7 or 8 hour drive.
Oh, yeah.
Boo-hoo,
Nothing.
boo-hoo.
So hats off to those racers that are coming from all parts of the country. It's super freaking cool.
For the toughest
and I am so sorry we didn't get to hook up with them on the lake bed.
I know. Dude, there was so many missed opportunities, but we'll circle back with them.
I wasn't sitting in my camper eating bonbons. I mean, I was out and about doing shit, and it's just the week flies by, and it does. I feel bad. And we had so many interviews that we wanted to do, and we got to circle back with. So we're going to circle back with SXOR, right? So our friends there, my good friends, because I have an SXOR buddy, Cole, Sky, and Brandon, and Bailey Cole raced with them this year, and we're going to hear about that. We've already got that teed up. That's going to happen.
Absolutely.
The Portal Pros, Matt at Portal Pros brought by our camp the 3D printed prototype of their new portal. And portals are fucking cool. I don't care who you are. If you're into four-wheeling, portals are cool. So we got to circle back with them. Of course, we got our good friends and neighbors here, Randy and Amber. Got to hear about their race experiences and stuff. Ultra 4 Jones, we got to get your fucking story online.
Right.
Shannon and Jess, we were supposed to connect with down there. Did not happen. We both talked to them, but we didn't get to interview them. So more stuff coming up here on the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey podcast, because
we're
you know what, Chris?
Super long. Because we give till it hurts. Let's give the quick results before we sign off. Let's put a bow on this. So the 4,400 Nitto Race of Kings official results.
Powered by Optima
what a great race that was. That whole ending with Kyle Cheney.
Dude, the last hour and a half of that race.
Kyle Cheney with a completely blown out suspension.
Oh, you want to get me going? I don't have time to talk.
No, I know.
I think
there's more.
I will say right now, though. Wait. This is our podcast, and I got to say this. Fucking Kyle Cheney, even though I own a Can-Am now, should have been DQ'd for not hitting. What's that? What's the name of that trail?
I don't know.
Fucking.
Well, he did it both days. He did it on Thursday and Saturday.
Exactly, and he had arguably the best right seat next to fucking Chris Ray,
Terry Madden.
So how do you miss that trail 2 fucking days in a row? And you miss, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Shannon fucking Camel driving a badass fucking rig, or Kyle Cheney driving a fucking golf cart Can-Am. If you miss a fucking trail, you should be DQ'd. That is my fucking opinion, and I will stand by it. I'm glad he got bumped down, but he shouldn't have fucking been in 8th place. That should have been a fucking DQ in my opinion.
He got slammed pretty hard because he ended up with 52 minutes and 10 seconds in penalty.
I don't care. And it was an exciting race, but you miss a trail.
No,
you
absolutely.
shouldn't miss a trail in KOH. You shouldn't miss a trail.
No.
And here we are in 2024. We got fucking technology called GPS. There is no excuse. And you arguably have the best fucking right seat. Why the fuck did you miss that trail? Did you do it intentionally? Okay, I'm going to stop now.
Yeah,
I'm getting aggravated. My blood pressure's going up. I'm going to come to it. Oh,
Lorenzo
ran out of the room.
Oh, boy.
He ran out of the room. Okay.
All right,
I'm gonna stop
back
right
on the
there.
rails. So
let's end this.
Let's do the top
wrap it
three.
up. Wrap it up, Chris. Wrap
Top
it up.
three.
I'm out.
So the podium winners for the 2024 Nitto Race of Kings, John Webb, through all that adversity, almost burning to the ground and dying.
Phoenix,
he comes in third. God damn, that's freaking awesome. Absolutely awesome. Comes in third place. And then second place, Brett Harrell. He ran a clean race. I mean, that guy just chugged along the whole day. And then, of course, the guy that started like 99th.
Started from the bottom. Now we're here like Shannon Campbell did.
JP Gomez, our new king for 2024. So he bumped his brother off the podium. Woohoo! Those are your winners right there.
That is cool. That is cool.
So those are your winners. Cade Rod, who was the pole, came in 10th.
It was an exciting race to the end. And then we got to mention, I got to give the VIP to Jason Shear and Jason Berger, right? We interviewed him before this race. And, dude, what a sportsman. You know, he's there when Miles interviewed him when they came back to main pit after tangling up with Cade Rod. Obviously, their fucking race was done. Yeah. But what a sportsman. He's like, dude, I should have hit it. I did not want to destroy his car. You know, I mean, that is so... I mean, I loved Jason before, but I really love him now, right? Like, he's like...
It's a class act.
Anybody else would have fucking just hammered and no holds barred, just drove over, you know, the car. But Jason tried to climb over and got hung up, and it ended his race. Yeah. And admittedly, he says that, and it sucks. It sucks because on paper they were teed up to win, right?
Sure.
And just that's KOH. But what sportsmanship and what a classy guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it doesn't get you a fucking trophy, but God bless him.
Everybody
that
gets
was
a trophy.
Fucking cool. Him and Bert, I would have loved the car audio right there. Berger, can you get me the car audio? I know you're listening right now. Let me know what you guys were saying. We'd love you have you back on because we were all yelling at the TV during that moment and going, what the fuck's going on? So I know you guys were too.
Yeah,
anyways, great KOH 2024.
Absolutely. No, and there's, of course, a lot more content to follow because we, like Jason said earlier, we give till it hurts. So absolutely loved the KOH 2024. Hated to pull the plug a little early. I wanted to stay till Monday. I know you did too, but unfortunately that wasn't in the cards this year. So
no, I'm glad I got home when I did.
Right. We're running long, so we're gonna put a bow on this. How do you get a hold of us, Jason?
Just give us a call, 408-800-5169. You can hit us up on the IG at Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. You can hit Chris or Jason at Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, Chris at Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, Lorenzo at Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. He's already at the CVI.
Perfect.
Yes, we are good. Contact us, give us a call. KOH 2024 in the books. Woo-hoo. I am so glad. It was it probably was one of my favorite KOHs. Just from our camp, everybody, the weather, everything was great. The exciting last hour of the race, all of it was great. This is what we live for. Man. I'm glad we can document this. And Chris, thank you for being there and doing what you do and not shitting in my right seat. So I'm gonna do
that's what that crowbar was for.
So good. It is so many memories. I love this shit, and we're gonna keep doing it until we don't want to do it anymore and we don't have fun anymore. But we're having a blast. So with that, Chris,
we're out, buddy.